New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning. Laura Stiles, Rosenberg, and my friend, Jermaine Dupri. Let's give it up. I didn't call you friend of the show because they may disagree.
No, he's friend of the show.
Oh,
but
okay.
I just want to say, when Laura and I talked earlier, when you and JD invariably start fighting about bullshit, we're leaving. Right. So once you guys start going down, I remember 1999 when you...
We ain't gonna do all that.
Once you start, once we go back to the
I
Echo
think
Carl Kanai days,
we ain't gonna do that no more. We ain't doing that.
And I've never seen two people like each other more who just fight for no reason.
No, but that's Jermaine, though,
like two old guys on the block.
Jermaine love a debate.
We ain't doing that no more.
He's a big debater.
We ain't doing that no more.
Jermaine, what's up, man? Back on TV, man. You got a documentary, Power, Influence, and Hip Hop, The Remarkable Rise of So Def, July 18th, WEtv.
Yeah.
Now, this is everything.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it? What are we getting?
It's the beginning of my life, Kriss Kross story, Brat's story, my story of, my introduction with working with Mariah.
You cover Usher?
My introduction to Usher, kinda. I only got an hour, so it's not, once you start talking.
Oh, yeah, that's not enough time.
Once you start talking, you can't even, then the Bow Wow story of how Snoop gave him to me and the whole connection. But once you start talking, you can't really you can't go further than that,
Now, is this going to be the beginning of maybe, is this a part one? Is there going to be
people keep saying that, so I'm guessing that,
that's
if you put it in the universe, that's what could
possibly happen. Do you want this to be?
Yeah, it should be. It should be. I mean, it's so much more story that people know about. That's the things that we argue about, by the way, Rosenberg, is that, these stories.
I
know this guy before he came here.
Right, I know.
Yeah, so... we gotta argue.
No, there's a lot. Now, Ebro, Jermaine is also, you have argued about this, but I don't want to argue about this. You have argued that Jermaine's a troll before, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm definitely not a troll.
And he said this, according to our piece of paper, so this is definitely reliable. It's from our intern who's been here for 2 days, so I'm sure this is fine. According to, you said to the Atlanta Black Star that you are more influential on Atlanta rap than Outkast.
Yeah. And
you say that because you paved the way for artists to come to Atlanta, bring in Diddy, Clue, Envy, etc., all to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting. I'm not saying it's a wrong statement.
I mean, the part that people miss that makes me say that is Outkast tried to sign to So Def. So what does that mean?
Pre-LaFace.
Yeah.
They wanted to sign to So what happened? Why'd that not happen?
They said they was calling. I never got the call, but they was saying Big Boy told me they was calling. So
and you would have definitely signed them, I assume.
100%.
Well, I think what he's saying is Outkast is a group, and then obviously Goody Mob, and they had Dungeon Family and whatever. So Def was a label that was operating at a different level with not only, the stuff you were writing and producing for other people, but also the artists that you signed. So I think it's a valid statement.
I mean, but I'm saying I feel like, it's an interesting space that I have to walk into when people have this conversation, because it's like, I think I talked to y'all about this before. When everything started going young the way it is now, right? I've been doing that, right? And when I was doing that, the rap gods wasn't supporting it, right? So so now when you bring this up, the rap gods switch it again, and they still not trying to support it. They choose like, yeah, but Kriss Kross was kids. It don't matter.
But Jump,
it's
and
rap music.
They had a collab with Biggie, and
it's rap music.
It was rap, and it transcended just being kid music.
Yes, it's hip hop. You can't. When you sell 8 million hip hop records, we can't have no more conversation about this. It is what it is.
Kriss Kross, they actually get oddly slept on because Jump was so big and was,
Listen to what you're saying.
No, that's
you
crazy.
Get slept on because it's so big.
I know.
Yeah, but that's how. But that happens in culture.
That's the old culture, though. That's what I'm saying. That's the old hip hop.
Right.
Now
there's still a segment of hip hop that's like that. That doesn't like things that are overly mass marketed.
And they get ignored because they look at it as one thing.
But to your point, I truly believe it's because they dismissed it as kids.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's not. That don't happen now. Like.
What do you mean?
Bow Wow at that
I don't
time.
hear nobody saying anything about anything that's big now. If it pops now, everybody talks about it forever.
But that doesn't mean they have respect for it.
I don't know that either.
Yeah, because think about it. Think about how many artists are popular right now, and think about how many are truly culturally respected the way Kendrick and J. Cole are. You know what I'm saying?
I can't even.
I would say even Drake's a victim of it. Even Drake, because he's so big, doesn't get thrown in the
People
best
try to disrespect
conversation
him.
the way Kendrick and J. Cole
Yeah,
are
but
in
he's
the
not from
conversation.
here though. It's different.
Ah, come on, it's hip hop.
See?
You just finished saying it's hip hop.
Yeah, but it's still, you know, it's still a country. It's a separation still.
That's wrong.
Like
that shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't be, but I'm just saying that's different.
Yeah, Toronto's right there.
Same country, too.
Whatever.
Even for example, you take a Young Thug, right, who was super.
But I don't
duper-
see nobody sleeping on Drake though. By the way,
Not sleeping. I said respect.
Yeah, I don't even see
didn't
no-
use the
I don't
word
even see-
sleep.
I don't
I see
even see-
people try to disrespect Drake and act like
I mean,
what he's doing isn't amazing.
right.
yeah,
Or iconic.
well, yeah, you can't do that.
But that's our
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, you can't do
right?
that,
So
yeah.
sometimes there are things that take place that people try to say it's not dope because it's just mainstream trash or it's just, you know, a fad or, you know, whatever they try to do to it.
And I mean, like my whole, I guess, and I don't even know argument because I don't even care about it really no more. But it's like Kriss Kross' first album sold what Outkast last album sold.
You mean the double album?
Yeah, they sold 10 million. Kriss Kross sold 8 million on their first album.
Right.
And their first album, I don't know that it sold 2 million.
No, I think it went platinum.
Southern
but-
Playalistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, you know.
But also some of these conversations are, as you as a businessman that ran a record label successfully and still runs a business successfully, you're looking at metrics like sales.
Right.
Not everybody cares about that metric.
No, I'm
Some
not.
people-
Well, my quote is not. It's purely not about sales.
Right,
my
right.
quote is about culture.
And in the culture,
I was bringing. I'm the
Yes.
first person that brought Clue to Atlanta. I'm the first person that had Jay-Z on a record from Atlanta. I'm the first. I did all that first. All that.
No,
every bit of it.
I don't think anybody's arguing.
Yeah, I don't think you could argue that. I mean, I think people think Outkast is probably the greatest artist,
100
rap artist ever out of Atlanta, probably.
100%.
I think
I give
from
him
the
that.
culture, I think everyone associated you with that. If you
You have to.
fucking the song "Welcome to Atlanta," I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, but that wasn't made then. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
It's
later,
like yeah,
right,
people
that's-
start. You know, they really use a timeline when it comes
No,
to Jermaine
yours just goes
Dupri.
back a long time. Now, do you remember? There's conversation about the first New York rappers to go to Atlanta. The conversation is generally like Phife Dawg, Eric Sermon. Do you remember the first New York rappers moving to Atlanta?
Yeah, Shy D.
Shy D.
He's from the Bronx.
I forgot Shy D was from the Bronx.
Yeah.
True, MC Shy D.
So that's the first rapper you remember to move to Atlanta.
That's the first rapper that I met in Atlanta that was from New York that was like blending both cultures.
And then who do you remember after that?
Wow, I forgot. Wow.
YZ came to my house and stayed.
YZ?
Yeah.
Return of the Holy One?
Yes.
YZ?
Yes.
Wow. And stayed at your house?
Yes.
That's mind-blowing. That is so random that you were hanging out with YZ.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hip hop. I mean, you know.
And do you remember when Phife moved to Atlanta?
Yeah. But that was at a
That's a little later. That's after the second album.
Yeah, that was after Ways. I mean, but you know, like I signed Harlem World. Mase lived in my condo. Mase, Jim Jones, all of them, they stayed in my house.
You remember a young Wildin' Out
Jim Jones before he even was rapping.
When he was just looking out for
in
Mase
Harlem
was-
World. He
Right.
was just in the Harlem World. He was with Mase. He was just
Handling business for him.
I mean, if he was rapping, they hadn't made
Right,
records
right.
yet. But yeah, Jim Jones, Mase, Cam. I signed all of them.
How do you feel about Atlanta at this very moment? You think Atlanta is still holding on to being the number one city in rap?
Yeah.
You could argue it's the longest run any city's ever had. They've been on top for a very long time.
I mean, not New York.
I know this is not a popular opinion, but if New York's run
Time-wise, doesn't even make sense.
I mean,
Yeah,
but,
the
but
time-
when,
what do you mean?
when y'all gonna start?
length of time. Like you said, the longest run.
well, how long do you think New York's
Because
run
there was a run there where it was only New York.
Yeah, it was
just
only
because-
I guess
Yeah.
it depends when you decide to start the timeline.
Right.
I'm kind of thinking
If you're
about it
trying to
after.
say like
thinking
post
most
2000, you know.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah.
like kind of post the infancy of hip hop.
right.
Yeah, if you include from the beginning, and you
Right.
start in 1975, okay, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But post hip hop exploding,
yeah,
I would say
okay,
Atlanta's had the longest run of anybody,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
It's been a great run. I also think that, you know, I think the amount of music that comes out of Atlanta and becomes successful.
It's incredible.
Creates a whole other metric that, you know, we don't necessarily look at. Because even right now, you have very successful New York artists that are so big, you don't even think of them from New York. And that's always been a thing. right?
That
like
is
where
true,
you
too.
have these massive superstars. Cardi B's from the Bronx, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Nicki Minaj had a phenomenal run, right? Jay-Z is the biggest rapper of all time. His run,
It's forever.
I don't even know, it's not over.
But it's not disguised that he's from Brooklyn, though.
Say
you say?
again?
I said it's not disguised.
Yeah,
that
No,
he's
it's
from
not.
Brooklyn.
Jay is very clear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. But I'm
very-
just saying, as
very
far as
clear.
runs go, and that's why I said the amount of material that comes out of a city like Atlanta that also is
Well,
successful.
also
I mean,
Atlanta's so definitive to who these characters are too. It
The
plays more of a part.
difference with Atlanta, I'm gonna say I just did Essence Fest, and the difference with Atlanta music is that we're all connected. That's what no other city has.
I'll give you that for sure.
We are connected. Like every piece of something somebody else has done is connected. If you see Lil Jon came from So Def, right? That means Crime Mob. That means Lil Scrappy. All of that's connected to.
Where are you connected to the Migos?
Huh?
What about the Migos?
No, I wasn't connected to the Migos.
I'm just curious.
No,
I'm curious
I
if,
wasn't.
if
I
you play
wasn't.
6 Degrees there.
I wasn't, but I did make a record with the Migos and Ty Dolla $ign before they popped.
Like what, years ago now. Years and years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Future.
for
What about
instance, but like
Future?
Coach,
Well, Future's Dungeon Family.
Coach
That's
who's
right,
Quality
right.
Control used to work on Jeezy's project.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's not just me. I'm saying
I don't mean just you. Yeah, no, I know what you're
I'm saying everybody that comes out of Atlanta has some kind of connection to somebody that blew up prior
Got
to
it,
them
got it,
blowing
yes,
up.
yes,
And Atlanta very much has a culture that people want to be a part of because when you go there, it's fun, it's a great feeling, still great clubs. It's very
Well, it's the black culture capital of America for the last 10 years. I mean, it's really important. It's an important city culturally. Last night I had a thought cross my mind during the ESPYs because like they were using ESPN uses Migos' voices so often. They presented at the ESPYs too. It made me realize that like when you kind of look at this current period we've been living in the last few years, the Migos have been like the most kind of mainstream rap voice of the last couple of years. If just in terms of like the fabric, you know what I'm saying?
they're always there
They're always there
with hits.
and still respected and liked and cool, but they've gotten commercial checks everywhere. Yeah. They're on commercials constantly. Yeah. And that's just another piece of this Atlanta story.
Is it another rap group?
I was just about
That's
to
the
say,
thing.
where's the other rap group with
They
multiple
don't-
personalities?
They the only rap group. Like, it used to be a time when it was nothing but rap groups.
It's so true.
Now they're the only rap group, so they gotta get it. It's the only rap group that we got.
Isn't that interesting?
That's
Why is that,
crazy.
you think? You're a guy who makes records. Why do you think the group is out?
Cause hip hop is a see it, do it sport. I don't think people seen groups. You think the Migos went to a Tribe Called Quest concert? Well, come on, man. Like, come on.
But I think they do have some influence left. And that's probably how they are there, is that they are a little bit, they're a little bit older.
I think all of that, the fumes from all of these things are flying in the air.
Right.
But still,
Someone has to pick it up.
going to a Run DMC concert will change your whole entire life.
Going on tour and
Yeah, you would leave there with your mentality will be in a whole different space. I just don't think these kids have opportunity. They ain't seen nothing. So that's why it's not forming the way it was.
And is there some sort of, like when it comes time to do the business for signing a group or producing a group's music or any of those things, that's obviously much harder too.
Yeah, because if they don't, if they don't have, if you don't have the knowledge, especially for me, I mean, you just gotta. I've seen too much for me to just sign a group that don't really
Get along or have problems.
Yeah,
or-
just you
how
gotta.
many franchise boys were there in them franchise boys?
4.
Was that a pain in the ass?
No,
They were
I
fine?
didn't deal with it. Yeah, I didn't have to deal with it.
So dealing with groups in general, though, is it more complicated? Or at the point you were at where you're a CEO, it's not necessarily that you have to deal with it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is though, because if you in these groups they try to say that it's one person that's the leader, but when the success starts, that piece of the information starts to change. Then it turns into it was my group. Oh, okay, all right. Well, you know what I mean. Like then you start hearing stuff that you ain't know. Like we started when you came to my like it just goes. It just turns into whatever.
Jagged Edge have major problems in this regard?
Not a lot, but I mean they're twins, right? So, and the twins is the leaders. So whatever that twin thing starts, you gotta just
Let that be.
Oh, boy.
You gotta get out of it because they,
I don't feel like I saw that in TLC though.
huh?
I don't feel like I saw that in TLC. Like who was the leader?
No, TLC was my group before they was signed,
Right.
And they was called Second Nature. So you saying you didn't see it? They had a girl named Crystal who was the C that y'all never saw. So yes, they had just.
That had so many layers to it. I never saw it. That's because it already happened. They got her out of the group.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And her name was Crystal. So they just replaced somebody else with another name that started with a C, which became Chili.
Wow.
Had a couple eye blinking moments on the show today. Like 5.
Mind blown.
Oh, so we do talk about TLC on my doc, by the way. T-Boz lets everybody know what they left out of their VH1
Got
documentary
it.
or whatever, that the way that she sounds came from me.
What do you mean?
The way that you hear T-Boz singing, she's mimicking my voice.
Wow.
In what sense? Like
When I found them, so
and you were
I started writing songs for them, and we was writing, and she sung something that had her do for Kriss Kross, and I'm like, yo, your voice sounds dope like this, and she was like, no. I'm like, yes, let's keep it like this, and the rest is history.
with the raspy
Yeah.
thing. Wow. Well, you are pretty. You are pretty.
Love,
You are. Don't try
but
it.
that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
What are you doing? How are you doing this? Hey, so we were off music for a second. Our story locally of the day was of a viral video yesterday of a guy who was 5 feet tall losing his mind at a bagel restaurant. He lost it.
The white guy, seen him, right?
Lost his mind. And so we were having a conversation.
We had him on the show today.
Yeah,
Actually.
he called up.
Oh, yeah?
He's out of his mind. But we were saying to him that there are a lot of guys who are short out there. And yes, it can be annoying at times, but they manage to make it work. And then we thought, Jermaine Dupri's coming in today.
Yeah.
He made it work pretty well.
Boy, did he.
Boy, did he.
Boy, did he.
Boy, did he make it work.
Oh, my God.
Was it ever a thing? Was your height ever a thing for you?
Nah.
You never, like, I'm pretty short too. I never really noticed it.
Nah. I'm a B-boy. I was fresh. Fresh trumps everything.
And that's what we was trying to tell him, like you know, your personality, man.
Yeah.
You have a disgusting
You
personality.
just
What
walk
do
in
we-
the room. You know, I was little. I would break. You know, this was my life. I had to battle people that was 6 feet tall, but you better be fresh.
You didn't try the approach of just walking into places and screaming at everyone?
Nah, not like that.
Now, have you had the experience, because this is this guy's problem, and you know he's traumatized.
Oh, it was a small problem for him, for real. Like, really, he was screaming because he's little.
Yes.
Yeah,
5-0.
and he went into talking about on dating apps, women won't date me, and they say you should go somewhere and die because I don't date short men. He's really traumatized. He has some other mental health disorders that I think, you know, clearly he's a a-hole. He probably racist and all this other stuff. But have you ever had the dating experience where somebody was just like, I can't date somebody your height?
Nah.
What's tall?
I've heard it before.
But it just never happened.
I've heard girls say this around me, like I like tall guys.
Your guy.
It's cool.
Now, have you ever? I'm sure you bagged a girl who thought she liked tall guys until.
Yeah. Realize that you're all the same size when you get in the bed.
Hello. Now, real quick. Louis in the corner just threw his hand up. Louis was like, that's right, talk about it.
Louis 5'3".
Louis, what's the tallest woman you've ever dated, though? Like, do you not like dating super tall women?
Oh, nah.
You don't mind? They could be 6 feet tall. You're good.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty, apply.
Long as
WNBA.
when she turn around and her ass is right, it's a go.
Do you just talk about hitting the Statue of Liberty from the back? I never seen
Jermaine Dupri says he wants to have sex with the Statue of Liberty.
Yo, JD just fucked the Statue of Liberty, guys.
Oh, my God.
That just happened. Write that in the book. This is incredible.
Oh, my God.
Yo, and it's not in the documentary, though, him having sex with the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it's
Power,
not.
influence, and hip-hop, the remarkable rise of So Def.
Yeah.
Today, you're working on records. I see you tweeted about Snoop and Osuna
Yeah.
mixing a record. Is that a record you produced?
Yeah.
And is that a part of a particular project?
A Snoop record.
That's a Snoop record.
Yeah.
Well, he putting out a Latin album now.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Wow. Uncle Snoop's, did you guys know this?
No, I did not know that.
Y'all didn't see his new. He put out a new video and everything, like recently about him. You know, like the statement that he made in when he got his star. I think that's the sentiments of the song. Like I'm thanking me or something like that. I don't know what the title of the song is, but he put out a brand new video. Then I seen him. Him and Swiss was doing something last week. Yeah, he's moving in that space.
In that direction.
Have you seen an artist reinvent themselves so many different ways and so many different times?
Huh?
Have you ever? What other artist has reinvented himself so many different ways and so many different times?
Like I said, an artist that's seen things. If you grew up in an era where you saw something, then you know what I mean. That's the same thing like that he was asking about the Dapper Dan thing. It's like I grew up in an era where you walk in a room and everybody had on Dapper Dan and I couldn't afford it. And I was just looking around like, I almost wanted to be a thief at like one, like,
Yeah.
What's Ozzy?
like, yo. But then, you know, like I said, so you this is in you. So you, as you keep growing, you just have this vibe to, I gotta get fly, at some point. So then when you finally find $2,500, you start going back and trying to get Dapper Dan to make something for you, even if that's not the era that we in. Right? Just because you've seen it. I just think that that's the thing. Snoop has seen everything. Damn near. Not more than me, but yeah.
No one has.
And just to reiterate for people out there that just don't even know how long you've been doing this, when was your first entertainment gig that you feel like started your career?
I'll answer for you.
That's in the doc,
tour.
by the way. That's in the
It's not
documentary.
the tour?
Huh?
It's not Dancing on Tour?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's the first thing,
Houdini.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
year though?
Yeah. 84.
A lot of people don't know this. Jermaine's 60 years old.
Yeah, right.
62 years old. Looks incredible.
How old were
He's
you
older
at
than
the
Dapper
time?
Dan.
I was 12 in 84.
Crazy.
And your dad was cool with you going on tour at 12 years old.
Cool with it. I don't know if he was cool with it. I just know that, you know, they knew that that's what I was wanting to do.
And mom was supportive.
My mom was at work. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, I don't even know if they knew what was happening because I didn't know what was happening. You don't know you're going on tour with Run DMC at 12 years old.
Yeah, he just was dancing. Having
Like,
a
you
great
just
time.
you don't even know what that is. Like, you just like, oh, okay. So then years after that, you start realizing, like, yo, I was on tour with Run DMC.
Crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Like, I
exactly.
never even dressed them guys like that. I never addressed them like they was Run DMC or nothing. I was like running around like a kid. Like, let me get that watch, yo. Like, and they'll give it to me, and it's like a kid. So
Jermaine Dupri.
I try to do a movie about my young age and my young life. Like, what's the movie where the white kid goes on tour with the rock group?
Band, Almost Famous.
Yeah, so
that's so funny. I always think about that.
I try to do a movie like Almost Famous, but they told me that my movie was too rated R, what I wanted to show and what I wanted to do for a 12-year-old kid to be the subject matter.
You'd have to lie about the age to make it more palatable for
Yeah,
people.
but it's not real if I do that. Then you don't even get the depth of how crazy it is.
And by the
if
way,
you don't
that's such
understand that it's a
horseshit.
12-year-old kid right there.
That's such horseshit, though. That would now.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
go back,
believe me.
Look at Almost Famous. Almost Famous. Penny Lane is like 15 years old, and she's having a full-on affair with the lead singer of the band. That's
Yeah,
like what the movie's
But I'm
about.
saying that's teen.
I know, when you were 12.
I wasn't even a teenager yet. So I mean, you know, I had a lot of conversations about this. Like, I was really trying to do this before I did this documentary, a real full blown movie that was like that period of my life, like from 84 to like 90.
But the problem is, if there's you as a child being statutory raped,
yeah.
they're like, people will see you as a victim. It'll change the story.
Yeah, I know.
Whereas JD was just out there, you know.
Yeah.
So you had sex for the first time when you was 12?
Huh?
You had sex for the first time when you were 12?
No.
You didn't?
No. I saw sex, but I didn't.
Got it.
But 13, your virginity had to be gone by 13, 14.
Yeah. I mean, 12.
Oh, it was 12. So, yes, he did have sex at 12.
But not on tour.
Not on, okay.
Yeah.
And was it with an older person?
Of course.
See?
Well, not necessarily, of course.
No, but this is the part that when he was pitching the movie, they were like, "Hey, dude, this is statutory rape. We can't. No one wants to. We can't show that."
But I wasn't talking about that. I really wasn't. I didn't care about that part of it.
Right.
You know, I just want you to see what I saw. So people, I think that every time I have a conversation or I do an interview, I don't think the person that's actually interviewing me knows too much about Jermaine Dupri.
Don't you think we know a pretty good amount?
Huh?
Do you think we know a good amount?
Yeah. I'm talking. I'm not talking about you.
But see, I still don't even agree that. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a movie. It's not a. You're not a real
But
reenactment.
it's a sympathy. It would be hard to focus on the character.
Right,
He's saying the movie's fun. Like he was out there doing amazing things. The movie executives are like, they think the audience won't see it as fun. They'll be troubled by the shit that he saw.
But that's a great movie.
Because
Because
what I
it's
thought.
real life. That's
Because it's
why.
real life.
But you always
You
talk
know.
about that, like the shit you saw when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Adults are not comfortable with that.
And I thought that the fact that it's a different hip hop story. It's a story that everybody can't even tell. It's the story that everybody can't sit down and write. I feel like we need more content like that. And everybody keeps trying to put in the same content. This is a completely
This is a completely different look at something.
You don't have to tell me.
I'm surprised nobody wants this.
Yeah,
I'm
but
very
I'm
surprised.
telling
How
you,
much
that
We
age-
just watched Game of Thrones. You know, Khaleesi was raped.
But that's not about. But Khaleesi's not a real person. You always get confused about.
No,
what
but that's
she's-
what I'm saying. But this isn't a documentary.
Euphoria.
But this isn't a
But
documentary.
it's about his life.
Yeah, but it's his.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing this right, guys.
No, I know. I'm
explaining
just
the
saying.
law. Yeah,
I'm surprised that it's an issue.
Well, we think you should do it.
Listen, my foot is on the
I'm
gas.
JD, I'm gonna talk to you about that. I want to do something with
My
this.
foot is on the gas.
Why do you
I've been
think you
trying
help
to
him
do
get it
this.
done?
I think I could.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm very passionate about that story existing.
You know, if I send the white man in there.
And by the
first,
way,
it
I
might-
didn't want to say
Oh,
it.
you didn't send the white guy in?
Yeah, I got you.
Jewish? You didn't even do
it might change.
And I've been
right?
looking for this kind of. This is the kind of stuff I kind of want to do with my next life. Is find stories like this and help
Wait,
connect.
but why wouldn't you go to a Tyler Perry? Why wouldn't you go to one of these people that own their own movie houses and go that route? Why do you need to go to the whites?
I didn't.
the
I
wives.
didn't. Let's make sure that you.
the wives.
Yeah, I went to. I didn't. I just started having conversation with great movie makers because I feel like I said, this is a story that I'm the only person that can tell this besides Chad, which was my partner, who would be in this story as well. So I went to the creators of the Elton John movie, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, yeah.
Right, and Rocket Man wasn't. I haven't seen a new version of Rocket Man, but in Rocket Man, have y'all seen it?
No.
Okay, so in
want
Rocket
to.
Man, it supposedly starts when Elton John was a kid, and it was supposedly showing how he became gay and all of this other stuff, and it showed things like him laying in the bed with guys naked, and I think at first the movie got shut down because it was so revealing of his life and how much cocaine he was doing and all this. And I was sitting there like, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like, I want this. I want my movie to be raw like this. Because, like, I have my story is like Slumdog Millionaire. Like, I go into places and I smell cigarettes with cocaine in it. And people are like just kicking it and don't know what that smell is, and I'm like, somebody's in here smoking cocaine, and it just starts taking me back to the 80s of when I was smelling people backstage smoking cocaine in cigarettes, and you could I done had people talking to me and the shit fall out of the cigarette, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what you doing, but I'm just saying these are like stories, things that I'm feeling and seeing, and I was like, I want all of this in the movie, and that's the only place that I saw somebody trying to give you that raw, uncut story like that from a kid's perspective.
You saw an original version of Rocket Man. You saw it a while ago.
the first whatever the version was before I guess it.
Before
And
it came
they
out.
told me it wasn't coming out the way that I
So
saw
this
it.
is a few years ago already.
Like 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
People love it. I got to see it. It's supposed to be great.
Wow, I never even thought about people not wanting to tell a story because it makes people too uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like
Welcome to America, man.
Like I said, the whole part about, it's crazy because if you go to Elton John live in Atlanta. Our first time I went to Elton John house, I went in his bathroom, and
Sorry, wait. I just looked away for a second. Did you just name drop going to Elton John's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did Elton John move to Atlanta?
Elton John been living in Atlanta for a
Yo,
long
he's the
time.
first. Yo, he got Elton John to move to Atlanta, man.
So listen,
You
so
want to be signed to So Def?
yeah, so Elton,
Elton John.
Elton John invited me
So-
to his house for dinner one night.
Okay, wow.
And I go in his house, and first of all, he's done knocked out, like, it's a condo, but he's knocked out floors, multiple floors. So you get off on one floor and you end up on like 7 floors down. His house is like a museum. And he has Mary J. Blige playing super loud, and I can't, and nobody's around, and I'm in this man's house. I'm like, is he playing Mary J. Blige? Because I'm coming over here like, what's going on, right? So, but I had a moment where I went in the bathroom, and you know the picture from Miami where the girls' butts are like, it's all different flavors of butts. He has a picture like that, but it's all different flavors of.
No, of schlongs?
Yes.
Straight schlongs.
And it's like right
all
there.
of schlongs?
And
No, Ellen keeps 1,000.
And I was like,
You had to stop and go, I mean, I am at Elton John's house.
I did. I would bring that up because this movie, The Rocket Man, this has a lot of that in it, and that's what they was trying to like.
So what did you and Elton John talk about? Do for the night.
Hipness.
Hipness.
Yeah,
Like cool factor, swag.
Dude is hip. Fly.
Knows what the fuck's going on.
100%. At least when I went to have dinner.
And I'm guessing he was not playing Mary J. Blige for your edification.
Nah.
Yeah.
He was telling me he wanted to make a record with her, and I feel like that's where the whole boom, boom, boom. I feel like that's where it came from. It's because he put it in the universe. This is prior, way before that even happened. But he told me he wanted to make.
So how long ago was this?
This was probably like 15 years ago.
That's crazy. And he slept on Soulful too, even by me. I didn't quite realize
He was like the
how
first
soulful
white
he was.
man on Soul Train.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more blue-eyed soul than you kind of realize because you may think of him for.
Well, because it's also the regalia and the showmanship.
But by the way, that's so hip-hop when you think about it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Benny and the Jets is hard.
Hard. That shit's just hard.
Hard. By the way, nobody knows what the hell we talking about right now.
Benny and the Jets?
Yeah, we do. I'm saying in this
They
room.
gonna
I'm
look
talking
it up,
about.
hopefully.
I'll play a cue right now if you want me to.
No, we good. Sure. We don't have to go into you Bluetooth DJing right now.
You don't want to?
Nah, man.
Jermaine Dupri's here. Oh, then we can't play it.
What you say?
We
What
can't
you
post
say?
the video anymore.
Then we can't
after.
post the video.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
gotta get it clear.
Drama.
Listen, but you can go watch the documentary. It's
Yeah,
gonna
July
be part 1
18th.
guaranteed.
July 18th.
WEtv, power influence of hip hop, the remarkable rise of So Def. I love you, brother. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Shady.
Jermaine Dupri, up.
Yeah.